territory as a Vandy fan, but how do you feel about this scene right now in Alabama?
Oh, this is exceptional.
Well, ass burgers should have a different name too. It's just
ass burgers. Yeah. That's rude.
That's a lot. I've been putting meat in it. You guys smell good, man.
Really?
Yeah.
What do we smell like when we walk in?
Honestly, I usually think it's like a lot of deodorant.
Wow.
You'll see a motherfucker start at the wrist, bro, and put that shit on. Do you believe in the devil?
I remain unconvinced that such a thing exists.
Dang, you challenging him.
Yeah.
Do you think you would have owned a slave or not?
Let's see here.
I don't know if this conversation is gonna be good.
Yeah, we probably should move. Yeah, we should do it like an abrupt cut.
From Maryland, baby. Dang, cuz. Maryland, bruh.
I feel like you're niggaing it up for me.
No, I'm good.
He's like, yeah, let me black this show. I'm just saying. Damn, cuz. Why do you do that for me? I feel like you don't do that type of reaction for anybody else.
I gotta get it out while I got a chance.
Damn, cuz. That's cool on Crip. Yeah, you gonna do some dance next?
Dude, I'm just saying.
Hold up. So what happened exactly? Where did it all go wrong? On Saturday, the 27th of September, in the dim glow of the Beacon Theatre, under lights meant to illuminate laughter, Theo Von walked into something closer to revelation than routine. What was supposed to be a triumph, a Netflix special filmed before a sold-out crowd, unfolded like a confession under divine scrutiny. In the weeks leading up to it, Theo has stripped himself bare, stepping off antidepressants to feel the full weight of life again. But instead of clarity, he found chaos. Then came the ICE video, a digital serpent that used his face without consent, coiling his name into politics he never agreed to. Overnight, Theo Von, son of an immigrant father, was turned into a mouthpiece for a message he despised. The government called, offering him extra protection, as if angels with badges could guard him from a storm of hate.
If you need some extra security in your neighborhood or some extra police cars on patrol, let me know.
Now he speaks, not just as a comedian, but as a man shedding old allegiances. Turning from MAGA's fading altar, his idols cracking beneath the weight of betrayal and infighting. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene's public rebellion against her own party feels like a sign of something ending, a revelation of rot beneath the red banners. In this video, we'll explore Theo unraveling the circus that was his Beacon Theatre taping, the paranoia that followed, and the burden of fame that feels less like a blessing and more like a cross to carry. As his peers Brendan Shaw and Brian Callen debate whether he stumbled or stood brave in his own vulnerability, one truth cuts through the noise. Theo Von isn't falling apart. He's being remade, piece by jagged piece, in the fire of public spectacle and private reckoning.
Theo Von's latest podcast, recorded just days after his highly publicized Netflix taping at the Beacon Theater, functions less like a typical debrief and more like an exorcism. What was supposed to be a milestone in his comedy career became a pressure cooker of personal, political, and professional tension. Across the podcast, Theo methodically unpacks everything that led to that chaotic night: his mental health, a viral political scandal involving the Department of Homeland Security, the backlash that followed, and a widening rift between himself and the political right that once embraced him.
So I had a comedy special that we were taping. We were taping it last week, and about a month before I started, I quit taking some antidepressants I was taking. You know, I just kind of self-weaned myself off. And the reason why was because I wanted, like during the comedy show, I wanted to have a little bit more emotion during it. The Department of Homeland Security put a video up online talking about, they started making like trap beat edits and like banger edits to evicting people from the country, right? Or eliminating illegals, maybe some criminals, some people just undocumented, all, just across the spectrum, right? So they put a video of mine that I'd made for somebody in a parking lot, probably like maybe a year and a half ago, just jokingly. I think it was a year and a half ago. They put it in at the front of this Department of Homeland Security, like trap beat. I think they had I'm not sure if they had like young boy lyrics or whatever they had, but it was ridiculous. And the first 10 seconds of it are me, right? Like, I don't have anything to do with this shit. Nobody asked me about it. Nobody said, hey, this is going to happen. And I have a lot of different thoughts about immigration, right? They're like showing people getting arrested. Like, it's just an intense thing. And why is the government even making these? I don't know. But that's where we're at in the world.
Theo's inbox flooded with hate messages. His Nicaraguan father's immigration papers, something he always kept framed as a point of pride, now seemed like a cruel irony. He described becoming paranoid, keeping curtains closed, and receiving an unexpected text from a government contact offering extra security in his neighborhood. The offer frightened him more than it comforted him. It made him feel watched. The entire experience crystallized a revelation. He was no longer comfortable being lumped in with the MAGA movement or with conservative circles that had quietly adopted him as one of their own. He made it clear, without ever directly naming Trump, that he wanted distance. I didn't sign up for that.
And I have a lot of thoughts about immigration, right? I have a ton of them. And we don't need to go into them all right now. I've talked about them on other episodes. I feel like they're doing a lot of bookkeeping in the country right now because we're going to get into a surveillance state and everyone is going to have to be on the books, right? So that's where I believe that we're headed. But this was just wild, and people are like sending messages and like hateful stuff. And, you think all these illegals should, and all this type of shit. And like, I could talk to you ad nauseum about that, but this wasn't the time for it. It just was something that they used and put out there and everybody saw, right? Right. There was a moment on it was White House, because the White House also put this out. Thank you, White House. So anyway, we get to the shows, right? We're there and it's a lot, It's a lot. There's a lot of like last minute choices to be made. It seemed to go messier than the past specials that I'd taped. Right. It seemed to be a lot more confusion, and it all could have been just kind of my perception. Right. Because what started to happen was on this day, I was starting to feel a little bit like, I don't know if manic is the word. I don't know what manic means. I've said manic, but I don't manic. But yeah, I'm on stage, and the second half of the first show went good. And there were some beats that I got that had like an emotional piece to them that I wanted, and that felt exciting. But the whole show, it was there were parts where I just couldn't remember the next thing. I couldn't remember like my next sequence. Like, I was having trouble just keeping track of stuff. And that's when I really was like, oh man, I'm just off tonight.
He admitted that on stage, his mouth went dry, his rhythm broke, and his memory faltered. The first show was uneven. The second began brilliantly, but unraveled as he lost track of his set. The crowd was supportive, but Theo couldn't shake the feeling that something had gone deeply wrong.
At the risk of being filleted on the internet again, I thought I would explain a little more about the Theo Von show that I went to. It's not that I just don't align politically with him and therefore can't enjoy his comedy. Amir K opened for him along with another comic, and I don't think I align with them politically, but they both were superior stand-up comics to me. They worked the room better. They were able to keep the crowd engaged. So everybody was excited for Theo to come on. Early on in the show, there was probably one fan that was cheering a little louder than everybody else, like a woo girl. And he stopped the show and called her out in front of everybody and told her he was going to kick her out if she kept cheering louder. That was a little bit of a vibe killer. About halfway through the show, about the time he went off stage and came back on, made a joke about a second event happening in September, like the one that happened in 2001. And right then, a fist fight broke out on the floor. and there was kind of a rush of people getting away. The vibes got weird from there. The stories got rambling. He forgot the punchlines to several jokes and stories. It just felt like he lost the crowd. It didn't feel like he was prepared. It felt a little bit of a lazy performance and like an easy money grab from fans. There are a lot of people that would really love to be in the position that he's in, so to then not take it seriously and not give your best to your audience is disappointing. That was the reason why I didn't have a great time at the Theo Von show. Sorry for telling everybody that you were Theo's boyfriends and that you had crushes on him. You guys think I look like Kathy Griffin because you think all redheads look the same.
When reports emerged afterward that the special had gone terribly wrong, that he had bombed, forgotten lines, and even muttered about suicide, the narrative quickly took on a darker tone. Reddit threads painted him as unraveling. Theo responded by clarifying that while he sometimes joked about death, he would never take his own life. He reaffirmed his faith, his love for his siblings, his hopes for the future. But the damage was done. His vulnerability had been reframed as instability.
We took pictures. I went up by the stage at the end of each show and was taking pictures of people that were sitting there, and that's when some girl. There was a clip of me. Which I think this is what really this is what made things ridiculous. Where in passing, I just was like, or I don't know if it was in passing. I haven't seen the clip, honestly, and I haven't been online. I woke up the next day to a bunch of things like, bro, what's up? Or things like that. And I was like, oh my God, what's going did I steal somebody's horse? Did I hit somebody with a vehicle? I have no idea. It was just kind of alarming. And then a buddy of mine sent me a clip, and I could just see the outside. And it was you could see me on stage, and then people were asking me about suicide, and I was like, oh God, and I don't even remember exactly what I said, but I can certainly see me saying something like, oh, just try not to take my own life, which I understand it's not a joke to some people, right? It's not a joke to me. But it is something that I'll say stuff sometimes. I say stuff, right? You know that. If you've listened to this show before or seen anything, I say stuff. I would never take my own life. I would never take my own life. Okay? You hear that, Israel? I would never take my own life. I'm grateful to God for his grace in my life. I love my siblings. I have so many friends and people that love me and people that I want to see their children grow up. I'm hopeful that I get to have a wife and meet my own children one day. There's a ton of things in my life that keep me alive and hopeful, right? I want to be able to have an impact in the world. Those are just a few of them, probably.
In this volatile atmosphere, the fighter and the kid's reaction became essential to shaping the public's understanding of Theo's breakdown. Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen, both longtime peers and occasional sparring partners of Theo, discussed the incident on their show, their responses exposing a philosophical divide about accountability and compassion in comedy. Schaub defended Theo relentlessly, arguing that people online were eager to see cracks in the armor. He called Theo a national treasure, a once-in-a-generation talent, and insisted the Beacon Night didn't erase that. For Schaub, Theo's disarray was proof of courage, the willingness to be human on stage.
I think he was struggling, and who knows what was involved. And I think, he had issues too with his last special. Whenever the pressure's on, Theo might get in his head or something like that. All right, so he shot a special, one bad special. Guarantee you they're going to redo it. He'll be fine. Theo will be fine. But the people piling on him, that ain't the move, man.
Also, these people are so dumb. Theo is going to continue to crush,
Yeah.
I mean, he'll crush.
After what appears to be a significant setback, we'll see how Theo Von and his fans regroup and respond. Shut the fuck up.
Setback. Okay. Shut up.
You know what you do? You just book it next month. Theo's going to do a bunch of sets, tighten it up, and reshoot it. Now Netflix might be a little upset because more budget and the money, and Theo might make less money. He'll be fine though.
Yes, yeah. He's Theo Vaughn.
It's not now. If it was live, that's a different story.
Sometimes when you're shooting something too, it's like I've had this happen to me where it's like I don't know what happens. You didn't quite capture the essence of the joke or maybe the bit, and then you just want to go back and do it again. And
This
it's
is
very
different.
common.
This is different. B. You're missing the point. This is different. He was forgetting his lines.
I don't know. I didn't.
He's forgetting his stuff. Okay. Theo had an episode. Messed up.
Forgetting his lines, and also I did read like he would do the same bit again during the thing because I guess editing you can do it in post.
Yeah, for specials you can go back and do it, but the crowd's
do that.
like sitting there like what the
They're
fuck?
confused. Yeah, of course.
And then he was telling the crowd afterwards. He was talking to fans saying, I'm just trying not to kill myself. Like that's what's scary.
Shit.
Yeah.
The two hosts clashed over whether compassion should outweigh professional standards. Their debate mirrored the tension at the heart of Theo's own crisis, the line between authenticity and collapse. Schaub also acknowledged that Theo's meteoric rise after nearly 2 decades of grinding had catapulted him into a different stratosphere. Fame, he argued, is now instantaneous and disorienting. Comedians go from underground to global overnight.
Theo too, it's like, he came off road rules and stuff like Theo's in a different stratosphere now. When we did King of the Sting, Theo was popular, not like he is now. And Theo's a one-man band. He doesn't really play well with others. He has a vision and he does his thing, and you got to let him fucking go, man. Like he was the Justin Timberlake of our crew. Like we're all down to play and dance, and Theo's like, I ain't dancing like that. No, I got a better dance. And you're like, fucking do it. He's the Beyonce, and we're the backup singers, man. He's the Beyonce, he's the Justin Timberlake. Those people need to go do their own thing. That's Theo. Theo is one of a kind, man. The best.
It's really true.
He did blow up very, very quickly and huge.
Well, people say really quickly, but Theo's been at it.
No, I'm saying like
he's
the
been
time
doing stand up and being good at stand up for. I mean, I was doing shows with Theo at the brew house, the West Side Brewing Company.
Yeah, Theo's probably 20 years in.
And I'm talking about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
This is almost 20 years ago.
Yeah, Theo's probably 20 years in.
Yeah, it was literally 20 years ago.
Their differing perspectives reveal how the comedy world views breakdowns like Theo's. To some, they are symptoms of authenticity, proof of a mind daring to show cracks. To others, they are professional failings that risk undermining the craft. In Theo's case, the truth lies somewhere in between. The Beacon incident wasn't just a meltdown or a triumph. It was the visible combustion of a man caught between art, politics, and expectation. The antidepressant withdrawal, the viral ICE video, the government call about security, the sense of paranoia, and the scrutiny from both fans and peers all collided in that theater. Theo's podcast wasn't just an explanation, it was an act of reclamation. He wanted to take back his story before others wrote it for him. The Beacon may have felt like a circus, but for Theo Von, it was also a crucible. Out of that chaos, he's redefining himself. Politically unaffiliated, emotionally unguarded, and still, in the eyes of his peers, one of the most original voices in modern comedy. Whether or not the Netflix special ever airs, the real performance, the one unfolding now across podcasts, headlines, and conversations, is far more revealing than any scripted act could ever be.
I mean, so many just moments we've shared on this show that I'm like, oh, I live for those things, I mean, I want to see Vandy win a championship. So I'm going to have to be alive for a long time. You know what I'm saying? Type shit. But anyway, that was, so I woke up to that and I was like, oh man. In addition to that, people wrote articles. Oh, this is bad. And look, it wasn't great. I didn't love it. And I had a lot of people that said it was great though. Like I had people say, dude, we loved it. It was great. So, but I didn't think it was perfect, for sure. But I thought, let's just look at the edit and see. And so we still haven't decided. We might shoot it again at some point. I don't know what's going to go on.
As Theo navigates his personal and professional challenges, the political landscape he once engaged with is undergoing its own turmoil. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a prominent figure in the MAGA movement, has recently expressed significant discontent with both the Republican Party and former President Donald Trump. Greene criticized the GOP for its handling of the ongoing government shutdown, blaming her own party for the situation and urging them to end it promptly. She also expressed frustration with Trump's administration, particularly over the failure to release promised documents related to Jeffrey Epstein and ongoing support for military aid to Israel. These remarks indicate a growing rift between Greene and the MAGA establishment, highlighting internal divisions within the movement.
You know, my follow-up to you is more philosophical than policy related, because I don't think I'm mistaken in noticing a change in you, to be quite frank, and it's a change that I personally like. There's a certain seriousness and maturity in the way that you deliver what your objectives are and how you genuinely want to serve what's in the best interests of your constituents and the people of this country. Do you feel that, the way that this genocide in Gaza has developed has kind of given you a different perspective on geopolitics?
Well, I think there's two parts to that question, and I appreciate your observation. In the beginning, the media was pretty rough on me. Right. So it was hard for a lot of people to really understand who I am as a person. And when I ran for Congress in 2020, what a lot of people may not know is I actually ran criticizing the Republican Party. I had a lot of criticism of Republicans.
This internal strife within MAGA, exemplified by Greene's actions, mirrors the broader challenges the movement faces. As key figures express dissatisfaction and diverge from established positions, the cohesion of the movement appears increasingly fragile. This evolving political landscape may influence public figures like Theo Von, who are reassessing their associations and affiliations in light of shifting dynamics within the political sphere.